So one thing with success is sometimes you might try to overthink too much. And you don't realize that everybody you see that has the success that you want is probably not as smart as you think they are. And they're probably not thinking as much as you are before starting something. Or they're at least not asking as many questions to themselves as you constantly doing it. Hi, this is Emma, and welcome back to a new episode of Karen Talks. So I'm recording this very early in the morning. It's 8 a.m. Saturday morning. Yes, welcome to my weekend. Just kidding. I really like it. It has been quite fun to record this. It starts lighting up outside, but it's actually 8:30. It's like it's already sunny here almost. But I just keep it kind of close because I want to have the light interfere, and it's like kind of my setup. I like to have this very, the same for everything. I'm used to that, so I'm not gonna change anything. It's my artistic direction, whatever. So I just have my coffee, and I actually just felt like the perfect time to talk about it, because I think what I'm gonna talk about often happens most clearly in the quiet hours, whether late at night or early morning. So the hours where we are often left with our thoughts, or when directions fade a bit, and we are just left alone with our dreams and ambitions. So today I want to talk to you about success, but not about the definition of being successful, because everyone at the end of the day has his own definition of being successful. Let's just really make it clear, like the definition of being successful here, it's really to get the freedom you want, the money you want when you need to buy something, and just be good. But also being successful in your domain, in your ideas, being full with what you're doing and learning new things. And this episode is not to talk about the definition of this. I want to talk to you about how to reach this, but all of this starts actually by talking about the gap, the space, the void between dreams and movement, between imagination and execution, between the life you want and the life you actually dream of. Because that gap, that tension, is where most people get lost. We live in a time where everyone is obsessed with potential, have constant talent, constant inspiration, ideas, be all the time the best version of ourselves, and write the 5 years plan, 10 years plan, have big plans, big dreams. And don't get me wrong, actually dreams are extremely important, and without dream there is no vision and there is no success, unsure at all. And dreams are really the beginnings of everything, and they are surely primarily beautiful. But until you really act on them, they remain only ghosts of who you could have become. So I will say it again, having dreams is extremely important as having ideas, but this is not what will ensure success. And today, as there are infinite possibilities, it is so easy to fall in love with vision, possibilities, ideas, but you would just find yourself to never really act on them. And the truth is, and I'm as sad as you to say that, but the truth is, ideas alone will never build your life properly. And that's why movement and action, discipline and courage at the end of the day matter the most, and matter more than anything. Matter your dream at 2 a.m. in the morning, the Zara shopping bag you might have made, the car you might be dreaming of getting, or the apartment that you just being envying, or the house or whatever. But whatever, this little dream that you have, what really matters is if you're starting something, if you want to be successful, you need to act on it. And the truth is, any CEO, entrepreneurs or just people that you just think that just make it out of the wood, for no reason. But there is just one truth with all these people that they share. One characteristic in common for sure is they didn't wait to start a business, to just start something. They didn't wait to be perfect, or thought too much, have all this thought before starting something, or I cannot pick, I can't decide, I need to be perfect, I need to analyze, to overanalyze, to choose perfect. And that's the thing, like, you shouldn't overthink as these people. And the thing is, I think we fear action because action makes things become real. The moment you act, you can fail. The moment you act, you can be judged. The moment you act, you're accountable for things. And that's why a majority of people prefer dreams that just at the end of the day cannot really disappoint them over a life thing that demands something from them. But the truth is, dreams wouldn't and don't build real future. And I'm gonna tell you a quote of the French philosopher Simone de Beauvoir. I know I already used that quote. If you have listening to all my episodes, you will tell you I'm repeating myself a lot, but this is just true. There is just thing that I'm saying that I can just be able to apply in different domains and different moments, and I can just reuse them. And what she say, I can just reapply it also for success. And when you think about building something, like Simone de Beauvoir say, change your life today, and don't gamble on the future. Act without delay. So what she mean by this is that you would never know what's gonna happen like next anyway. So, and that freedom, dreams, success are actually coming with the motion and not in the static states. And what you have to realize is when you move, life actually moves with you. And there is like this philosopher, like one of my favorite philosophers. I know I never used it yet and never talked to you about it. So it's Arendt. Actually, in Europe, we tend to study it extensively, at least in France, while studying totalitarianism. So, you know, we used it, we studied it in history, political concepts, and political classes, and literature and philosophy. So you're probably wondering where I'm going with this analogy right now, but to say actually something beautiful on the courage to begin. And the courage to begin is actually the first step to success. So she said, action is the one miracle working faculty of a man. Action. Meaning action, it is what creates new beginnings. Action is what interrupts the pattern. Action is what's gonna make the impossible become possible. And she believed that every time a human being acts, they introduce something new into the world. Something unpredictable, something a bit revolutionary. So when you decide to move, to risk, to try, you literally create a new reality that didn't exist before your action. And you find the same philosophy in economy as well, in general. When you look, for instance, about the work of the economist Schumpeter, he wrote a lot about the creative destruction and this idea that new life, new opportunities, new growth requires breaking old patterns, old behavior, old habits you could have. And if you're watching this right now, you're probably wondering, and you're probably thinking, okay, Emma, but I would be more than happy to contribute to the creative destruction you're talking about, and to take action, and, you know, to create things. But I just really don't know which direction should I go, what should I pick, and the thing is, like, I empathize with you because I know today there is actually an excess of opportunities in our world. You know, I feel when you were in 2010, even in 2020, the early, if you really wanted to be successful, it seems they were really like still two paths, like rather still really two paths to be in, or maybe like 2015, still really two distinct paths to be in. It was rather you go climb the corporate ladder to prestigious companies, and you know, you just evolve and you just grow, and eventually you get to a good position for yourself. Or whether you start a business, and most likely if you're in 2015 to 20, an online business. But it seems like back at the time and at this period that the only thing when you think about online businesses that people were talking about was mostly drop shipping. So you kind of had very few paths. You didn't have this kind of amount of new online booming activities, new way of doing marketing and ads and products, online sales, copywriting, and like so many different areas, like so many more opportunities today. But before, you kind of had very few paths, and now there is so much opportunities and new businesses and ideas popping up every single day. But the kind of boring truth and reality behind this is, in any success, and with really this idea of success and being successful, the only thing that will work, it's not a product that you would choose on itself, it's actually how ready you are to be fully committed to it and to what you're doing. And that idea of being fully committed to something actually brings us back to the premise of success itself. The philosopher Montesquieu was saying success in most things depends on knowing how long it takes to succeed. And that's the thing. Himself, he understood that patience, but also persistence, the daily grind, it's like the accumulation of moments creates success. The truth is, you're probably getting caught up trying one business model for a couple of days, a couple of weeks, maybe 1 month, but you're never really convinced on it. You're just like gonna maybe try to fight a little bit against the algorithm while you're just starting, go into that direction, play a little bit with it, but then you would eventually reach to the point where you're like, oh, this is going to be a little bit harder than I actually thought it was going to be. And you just give up and start finding new ideas. And that's the thing, and like that's exactly the key, and this is what happens all the time is with business. If you want to be successful in anything you're doing, you need to be fully committed to it. Like, what is funny is that actually before starting, I just watched a video, like this kind of this video of I needed also like getting a bit of inspiration. And so I just woke up and I was on my phone and I was scrolling, and it's still Saturday, so chill. And I just watched like this video and how you become successful. So it was to give me some, what I could also tell, or just, it was already written, my ideas was already written on paper, but it was already written on my phone, but maybe I could add something. But I actually find this lady, and it was really interesting because it's an interview that takes place, it's Hard Knocks that I watched, and I don't, if you find the episode online, and this is this lady that is from Beverly Hills, and he asked her like, oh, sorry, we are actually interviewing women today, and are you a millionaire? And she as certain, I think she's in her 50s, and she said, no, I'm not a millionaire, I'm actually a billionaire. And so he's like, oh, really? Can I ask you a question? How you become a billionaire then? And to say the thing is, back at the time where she chose just something she was really passionate about, and she really believed in her that it was going to work, and chose to open a business of lashes. But at the time it was very unpopular, and what she said, like even her husband and her family were not believing in that business at all, and knew how popular it could have became, and whole like actually the good business opportunities it just could be. And it years by years it becomes like super big, and now I think her daughter is helping her, and she's actually quite famous now in Beverly Hills. But it's what I mean by this is, every time you start a business, if you're committed to it, even though if your product is not a 100%, even though if your area is still not famous yet, the marketing, the commitment behind it would just make it stay in the long term. And it's also you being fully convicted that it will work. You can make work anything if you convince yourself it's gonna work. And that's sometimes also something you go into that direction, and that might not be exactly what you study primarily, or maybe that's not like your area, or that's not yet your domain, and you're just kind of like starting to it, and so you might be feeling maybe a bit shaky first, but that's normal because you start, everyone that is starting something is not gonna be a genius on it like right away and nailing it. But the problem is like sometimes you choose this idea, but as you're not fully convinced on it, and you're a bit shaky, and you're not fully believe in yourself, you're just halfway in it. So when you start something, don't feel that you cannot do it, and don't be halfway in it. Absolutely not try to convince yourself that it's not your thing, because then of course it would never work. There is actually, and don't feel like also to like the imposter syndrome, that you don't have the competency to do something. If you're very passionate about this, and if you really study hard for it, there is this quote of May Robin that is going out on all social right now, and she's talking about this, and she say this quote that is very interesting, and I'm sure you saw it, whether it's on TikTok or Instagram, but she say, act like the person that you want to become. And this is intentional. And she say, that's not fake it until you make it, by the way. That is intentional. Because when you intentionally act like the person you want to become, your brain sees you taking those actions. So your brain starts to change the way it relates to you. And that is in that progress that you would be able to discern, okay, I can keep going in this direction, and this would lead to a good opportunity, or something would happen and you kind of take a different path, a small turn, but in the same direction, and that will lead you exactly where you need to go. And this is exactly like this with life. Everything you do, and if you are in a path that you're fully convinced that it's for you, and you're gonna go right through it, and you're gonna do like the best that you can do out of it, and you're gonna be fully committed to it, it's gonna work. Because you prove to yourself that little by little, brick by brick, that you're able to create, like to show up every day, to do the amount of work that is required for it, and you would really see yourself progress into the process. And if you want to know who you will become in 3 years, one of my advice is don't look at ideas. Look at your standards. Your habits, your daily decision. Because ideas are inspiration. So they are good for daily life, but standards would really lead you to transformation. So get up earlier, be consistent with your craft, with your work. Consistency is extremely important. Be also committed. Send these outreach mails, write a newsletter, reach to this person that you want to be in contact with. You need to be able to take the risk, and especially you need to be able to do the uncomfortable things, because this is in this discomfort that you're gonna progress. So show up even when you don't feel inspired and when you don't want to do the thing. And be disciplined even when the motivation is not with you on this day, or, is gone. Because that's really how you're going to be able to build a life. So remember, something very important out of all of this is action requires urgency. Not chaos, like not being all over the place, but, really urgency. You need at some point in your life, you would have this moment where if you want to be able to create something, you would really be able to be with your own thoughts, to stay, not going out, maybe not go out every weekend, and maybe be in your office, being in that place where you just have to put all of this effort, all of these ideas into action and into something. And, you have like also to really tell yourself that you need to, especially if you grew up with, with like support and like support of your family, there is like this moment where when you want also to be successful, you need to kind of imagine yourself by having no support, and how you would fly with your own wings, I would say, but you need to go beyond this, and how you can kind of being able to create this grind for yourself and create this feeling of urgency. This is also the urgency of honoring yourself. So before we close this little episode of today, so here I'm gonna give you like a few questions that I want you to sit with and just reflect on it. So I'm gonna ask you 2 questions. The first one is, what idea have you picturing, romanticize, imagine, rather than really acting on them? And what part of your future self is waiting for you to finally move, into that direction? Ask yourself what little action you can actually take today, or maybe in the coming week, and really decide to act on it. maybe waking up a little bit earlier, or try to give you a little challenge for, there is like Christmas coming. So maybe for the month of December, like before like the end of this year, before the end of 2025, try to maybe give you a little challenge to yourself. So to finish this episode, walk into tomorrow, with movement, walk into tomorrow with courage, walk into tomorrow with intention, walk into tomorrow knowing this: your ideas are your spark, your action are the fire. Very important. Your action are the ones that are going to come lighting your ideas. So you need to work and go into that direction. So if you need to remember two things actually about this episode, what I say is like, to be successful, there is two main ingredients. I would say it's action and commitment. So merci for spending this time with me. Thank you if you make it until here, and if you're still here. As always, save this episode, like it, subscribe. Return it when you feel stuck, stagnant, or, full of dreams, but empty of direction. And, let it remind you that you don't build a life with ideas. You build a life with action, with movement. You're a human being. You're full of ideas, you're full of movement, and life is the same. It's constantly moving. You're not stuck. You're in constant evolution. So this is Emma. This is KN Talks. Go where you feel alive, baby. And remember, ghosts stay in ideas, but you're not a ghost. As it said, also, you're not a tree. You can move. So act, move, live, and love you. Kisses.